I was going to ask the runner chaser dynamic. Is that bullshit or is that a thing?
I don't know if it's so much bullshit, but my twin ran. I mean, he ran from me, which I found fucking funny. I'm like, was going up to be like, hey, and they were like, ooh. But after that, after we had been like, anyways, after, you know, when you are a twin and you merge with them. I mean, before I merged with my twin, I was having the typical, there are typical things that you do as a twin. The telepathy is correct.
Right.
You may wake up hungover one day and you're like, why the fuck am I hungover? Do I feel hungover? And it could be because your twin went out on a binger the night before and you're just like,
because you guys share the same
what do you do?
signature frequency. And so you're feeling the same things on a much deeper level.
Yeah. Like I have to really check my sadness because I also have my aura is the way that it is as, you know, somebody who feels a lot. I have to make sure that like, I'm always in checking in and being like, is this mine? Is it my twins or is it someone in my family? I got to go through a laundry list, a checklist to make sure before I will take responsibility for the feeling. That's how you learn to move through ascension in regards to your feelings. Yeah, I'm going to feel that shit, but before I'm going to take responsibility and take that on, I need to know if it's really mine. Because if it's somebody else's, I'm going to give it back to them and be like, you know what, you're responsible for that. Please don't dump that on me.
Right.
Does that make sense? So after I merged with my twin, like my friend was there and she was laughing. She's a twin as well. And my heart chakra, I mean, ever since my heart chakra has like
exploded.
Yeah. Aww. Like there is you do go through an explosion, but like,
right.
It's annoying because like me and my twin are a little bit different in the regards to like, I don't know, you might be able to see what your twin is doing. I'm also a psychic. So like that adds another element to it. Like I know with this, I'll be like, bro, like, why are you doing that? Like, I don't need that in my aura today, you know? Like,
so you
need to check yourself.
So raising your vibration independently inherently raises theirs.
No. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I do believe that we have the exact same higher self.
Oh, interesting.
I do believe our higher selves are one, which is why you can see and feel and do certain things.
The monad soul?
Yeah.
Can you define that for our listeners? Monad soul.
To be honest, I think it's so convoluted. I really don't understand any of the shit that I read about it because I'm like, can you just break it down?
You sent me that diagram.
You know what I mean?
You sent me that diagram.
I sent you our diagram that my friend had sent me.
Right. Here, I'll draw it.
And it's kind of like spokes on a wheel. Right? Mm-hmm. Like they're like sun rays, basically. Mm-hmm. Like you're in the middle, there's the soul monad, and then like your little rays that come off from the soul monad. And I think a lot of people in the spiritual community don't want to get mad about it because there's a hierarchy within that. You know what I mean? Like you do have twin flames who are the leaders, and then that trickles down, trickles down, trickles down, trickles down.
So you have the big monad, right? The circle does it injustice.
I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't
monad,
see it.
The big one, and it splits off.
We can't see it. You're blurry.
Oh, really?
It says his recording is higher quality though, so go ahead and continue for the show.
Yeah, it should still be recording.
Yeah.
But in the middle is monad, and then it splits off into different soul groups, and then splits off into more soul individuals. So essentially, your higher self.
Correct. Yeah. And the reason why I'm not a big fan of that diagram, I liked it, is because it's based off the 144,000, which is not twin flames. Okay, 144,000 people. there's 7 billion people on this planet. You honestly think there's 144,000 twins? Like, no.
So that, again, that has been popping up in the social media circles, that the twin flame are tied to the 144,000, but you came to a different conclusion.
My take is from Anthony William, the medical medium. He says the 144,000 are some of God's most powerful angels that don't have any names. So that's what Anthony Williams said. And I was like, boom, that makes sense. So the 144,000 are from the angelic realm. I'm not saying that if you're a twin flame, you're not from the angelic realm. You could be. I don't really know. Like, that's none of my business. But what I do know is that there's not 144,000 twin flames on this planet of 7 billion people. No. Are twin flames rare? Yes. Is it a small group? Yes. How many did the creator make? Nobody knows. Because technically, an old friend and I were chatting. His belief was it was an experiment.
Right.
Let me go in and split these people up, and see what would happen. You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, as an experiment, I mean, nobody really knows. I just think that people, I think it was an answer for people to really understand maybe their separation from God, which is why you can't be a twin flame unless you go into Heroes Gamos. Like, that's just my other opinion too. Like, you have to go into sacred union within yourself, which means you're going to sacred union with God. That's why everybody says it is divine timing. And you also have to remember there's another person who has their own personality. They're living their own life, doing their own thing. I find that the men who are twin flames have a harder time at it than the women.
Wow.
So those who are carrying mostly the divine feminine, it's interesting because the divine masculine activates the divine feminine, but once the divine feminine gets activated, it's almost like the divine masculine is like, my work here is done, and then they don't want to do any of the other work that the divine feminine is doing. And then the best way of how I can explain this is that you and your twin flame, you meet, you're both driving Hondas, okay? Right? So you're cruising along, you're both in your Honda Civics, whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm doing the work, I'm doing what I need to do. I traded my Honda Civic for a BMW, right? I'm still doing the work, whoop, whoop, whoop. My man's still in his Honda Civic. It's kind of whatever. I'm still doing the work, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna go to the S class. He's still in a Honda Civic. So this is where people have to decide energetically when there's such a big gap between you and your twin. Are you going to continue to be with somebody in a Honda Civic? Or are you going to match up and get with somebody in the S class?
And what work do you need to do?
Or maybe get somebody in a Bentley. Like, and I'm talking about energetically. And these are the decisions that I think a lot of people have a hard time making because they are so attached to this third dimensional outcome of this is what I need, this is what I want, that your soulmate, who's 99%, could be rolling in the S class with you and can be your other divine counterpart, and you guys can have a fabulous life, but you're waiting for this asshole who's on the fucking Honda Civic who's not doing any work.
That describes how I felt with my catalyst very well.
Same too. Same here.
I even had a psychic tell me.
Do you know what I'm saying? And it may not even be a catalyst. It could actually be your actual twin. Your actual twin, and I'm finding this especially, like I said, I have clients who are in the industry and their twins are in the industry. And if they are girls in the industry versus males in the industry, the girls in the industry are doing the work, and the men kind of still be like, well, we just want to still stick around, be around the pretty women and do all the things, right? And they're like, the girls are like, well, we're moving on up to the east side, you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to get the deluxe apartment. And
in the sky.
I want to be in the penthouse, you know what I mean? And you want to stay in the ground floor. Like, so that's why you have to make that decision, I think, as twins. I mean, everybody, I would never tell people to do to be me. And I mean, I've been celibate for years. Like, I'm just going to throw it all out there. I don't really care. I've been celibate for a really long time. And I chose to be celibate as a twin to get rid of all the other energies that were interfering, so then I could really fully go into mastery of my physical body.
Wow.
That's why I did what I did.
It's inspirational.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm ready to get out of that. Okay, I've mastered the physical body. I've mastered all these different things. And this is the stuff that like the sages talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how you can't be of this world, but you still need to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that is whatever. I always tell my clients, I tell JR all the time, I'm like, bro, I'm like, don't be me. Like, don't sit around. It wasn't as if like I was like sitting around waiting and hoping, right? I just knew for me where I was going on my twin flame journey, there are certain things that were asked of me and tasks that I needed to complete that other people could not be around me to do, which actually meant me moving away from my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And moving to Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like, I left Seattle, packed up my car, left all my friends and family, and I had to be I've been hermiting for the past 9 years. Now I understand that things work in cycles of 9, and now I'm coming out of that 9-year cycle. Like, I'm having chit chats with my team. I'm like, listen up, 2023, I need X, Y, and Z, because I did the work and now I'm ready, you know? But a lot of times people don't want to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Question. Are karmic twins the same as catalyst twins?
Yes.
Yes.
But are they really karmic if you don't come with karma? Whose karma are you clearing? What generational curses are you clearing as the twin?
That's a great question.
You know what I mean? So that's just another label.
Right.
That's the thing. Like, we just can't be attached to label. People are so attached to labels, and people are so attached to this. I let you know, like, when JR came to me, I was like, you can move on and be happy. And he was like, oh my God, it's like a breath of fresh air. And then I told another client of mine, I was like, girl, I'm like, do what you got to do. She was like, you telling me that has released so much pressure off of me, because there's so much pressure put on people, right? Who are in the twin flame community to be, if you're not with your twin, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Right. We kind of hit everything all the bullet points that I had down. You kind of just flowed with it and hit things along the way. One of the last things I want to talk about is true disclosure. We had a text conversation a few weeks ago, and it was about...
Yeah, we did.
It was about...
I'm in the zone. I don't know what I'm texting.
We always have these,
oh my God,
we always have these random spur of the moment.
I like how like these random downloads that come in.
Yeah. You had these massive downloads, and then we talked about the true union of twin flames, and when they come together in true union, their union ripples across all space and time, reverberates across all space and time, affecting the planet, affecting the environment around them, which then in turn awakens others. And this awakening is the true disclosure that results from this union of the twin flames, is what we talked about.
Oh.
You don't recognize that, Teri?
that's we
Did I say that?
Yeah, it was a conversation by the both of us here. Let me pull it
what
up.
Did I say? I don't don't know.
right.
When I'm in the channel, like I'm like, wow, that's really profound. I'm like, oh
I love it. I love it.
Right. We talked about how you also talked about how AI originates from the shadow, and when we do shadow work, it's integrating AI, which is what we covered. Yeah. Hang on one sec.
What are your initial thoughts, though, when you hear what he said?
In regards to, I mean, I kind of remember, but like like I say, like sometimes like I just am so in it, and that's why when I know that I'm in it like that, like I text either him or somebody else. I'm like, shit, I'm having these thoughts because there's only so many people who can understand my frequency and like what I'm bringing down, because it's not very many. I don't get to talk to very many people about the stuff that I am aware of.
Yeah. Well, if you have space for another mentee,
of course,
text her anytime.
For what? I totally will.
Okay, so I wrote, their union creates a high vibration that reverberates throughout the cosmos, ? And you said, yes, creating the third energy, or as Andrew would say, another soul group. And then I said, affecting many and awakening others in their wake. That's the disclosure. He's correct when he says twin flames are from a different soul group and get together to create another group. And this is in turn, I mean, this is a result of the twins coming into sacred union.
Yeah, and look at the prime. Okay, I'm gonna look at Harry and Meghan.
Yeah.
Look at the ripple effect that they had when they. I mean, look at the ripple effect that they had when they came together.
And they're trying to be silent
across this planet, and how badly people wanted to stop them.
Yeah.
And they had the wherewithal to be like, I got to pull out of this situation or it's not going to end well.
Right. Disclosure isn't,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, isn't from some external source. It's the awakening.
No.
That's the awakening.
Correct. And the Great Awakening is us remembering who we once were. Because if you look at Egypt, where we are now, those are not the same humans.
We regret. And yeah, the pulley system.
So where were we dumbed down? Those are the questions that nobody asks. Okay, they built these great pyramids to match Stonehenge, all the things. But what the fuck happened to when we ended up in the Dark Ages and feudalism?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which they're trying to bring back again. If you think about it, with these corporations and these banks buying up neighborhoods, and basically how these companies are gonna negotiate your salary is, well, we had housing for you. And I'm like, I don't want to go back into the Dark Ages again.
No.
Mm-hmm.
So what is my job as a twin to do the work that I need to do to activate these grid lines? What am I doing in my everyday life? And like I said, I have friends who are twins and they are fucking asleep, and that's okay. Right. And maybe they're supposed to be. Right. Like, I'm not gonna get mad at them for it, right? But at some point, and I think this is what's happening just around the globe, globally. I think people are finally realizing that they are tired of the tyranny. Right. They're tired of working and saying, especially in this country, like, it's, if you work hard, you go to school, you do all the things, you can afford a house. But you can't. Like, how is it possible that my dad bought his first house for $23,000 and that house is now worth over $1 million? Make that shit make sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are the little things that I always talk about, like with Ascension and with Twin Flames, in regards to what you're supposed to be doing and how and where you're supposed to be showing up in your day-to-day life. Yeah, I might be a barista, right? But I know as a twin, I'm shifting that energy within that where I work. And the cup of coffee that I'm serving to somebody, if I know that I made it, or if I'm passing out that food or drink,
you're passing on that
shit is made with high vibration and high love.
Yep.
Right? And it keeps people coming back to our store.
Right. And
people don't know why they're coming back to our store in particular. Because let me tell you something. I mean, there's one, the company that I work for, there's one on every fucking corner. You know what I mean? Like, so take your guess where I work. But every single time I am at work, there is a line out to the street.
Right. You are living your mission. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, and now I feel like I really am, now that I'm talking about twins.
You are. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time that Teri is making an appearance on video. She actually decided to do this year, and she knew that it was time.
Yeah.
Yay, thanks, Teri. Celebrating that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
one last thing about the shadow work. Say for the people out there, because
besides don't do it.
the people out there that have, even me and Helen, we even preached shadow work on some of the episodes from season 1 and parts of episodes from season 2. So for the people that have done shadow work, what can they do to release this bondage shadow clone AI system from their light body?
You got to bring in the solar feminine. You got to bring in the light. And unfortunately, it's the solar feminine. And I'm just going to say it.
Wow.
She is...
And where can we find more information on the solar feminine?
You won't be able to find very much at all. Lisa Renee probably is the only one who really talks about it. And she talks about it a lot in regards to how it's the Christ Sophia blood. It's a lot of his specific bloodlines. Like Lisa Renee pretty much writes for like the PhD of galactic
That's what
information.
I'll post a link to that newsletter that you sent me in the show notes. And this is a note for the listeners. When you read it, it's going to sound like gibberish because it's layered in codes and high frequency and high vibration. So you're going to have to come back to it and back to it.
And she doesn't fully tell you the truth either. She's like Andrew. She's layering some lies with the truth, baby.
She's layering, and so you're gonna have to...
I mean, she layers so much stuff, and like you just got to be like. I mean, sometimes like it takes me. I mean, she sends out a newsletter every month, and sometimes it takes me being who I am, it takes me like 2 to 3 days sometimes to read her stuff, and I'm like,
it took me 2 years to kind of understand the newsletter that you sent me, because when I first read it, like I said, it was gibberish.
She talks about the solar feminine and what it really means, and how the moon is a false matrix, and it keeps women frozen in time.
Wow.
Which is why,
I've read it could be a satellite.
There is a reason why, and I was like, I'm never going to do moon rituals, and I didn't understand like why I felt no urge to do moon rituals. And then here I read her thing, and I'm like, oh,
so how do we?
That's why.
How do we properly charge crystals?
I have a selenite bowl.
And you just soak your crystals.
I get a selenite. No, the selenite bowl or a selenite wand clears everything.
Okay.
Oh.
You place water in the bowl with the crystals.
No, I'll show you. So
actually, no.
The crystal charges the crystal.
That's what I'm hearing. And you can't use water on selenite. I forgot, because it'll dissolve.
Yeah.
I just have a bowl that looks like this.
I
got this bowl from Spellbound Sky. Martin and Mark are amazing. I'm not quite sure if you can order it online, but they're out of Los Angeles.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Guess what fell? The rose quartz.
So no more charging crystals under the moon, full moon.
No, I don't even charge. People are like, "Oh, do moon water." Nope, not doing that either. You're gonna be doing everything in the sun, and I'm actually supposed to be. This I might as well talk about it. I'm actually supposed to be. It's been like 3 years in the making, and maybe me actually talking about it, maybe I'll actually do it. But I'm actually supposed to be running like solar tents for people.
Oh,
like when people come in and like you do like. I do everything based off of the sun.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So when the sun changes its signs, that's how that's
right.
And if you really want to get technical and be like, oh, I personally think the best times to really do manifestations is during eclipse season and planting the seeds for that, and also during solstice.
This is so interesting. So I've been recently into Graham Hancock's work. I don't know if you've seen his series on Netflix, Ancient Apocalypse. He talks about how these ancient civilizations, such as what is the one temple? Oh gosh, the only one that comes to mind right now is the one in Turkey. But basically, all over the world, there's a few. And, talking back to our conversation around the smart civilization that somehow we've digressed from. But all of these temples are built around solstices.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the sun,
Not the moon. Not the moon.
No.
Not the moon.
Because I'm gonna maybe I'll blow people's mind because I was having this thought like, what if we are technically supposed to be living like fucking Alaska?
Where?
All the time.
Where?
Well, this planet is supposed to always be in the light.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? Like, so like it's just twilight. Like there is no dark.
You're talking about the new 5D Earth. Is that part of that?
Yeah. I'm like, well, what if we really are supposed to just have 2 suns and no moon? I mean, I don't know. I have random weird thoughts. You know what I'm saying? But like, because somebody was like, yeah, we're in Alaska, and they're like, and it's midnight and the sun is still up. And I thought to myself, I was like, is it really supposed to get dark here?
And from my research,
I mean, if we're really
the sun has been realigned, the moon has been realigned. That makes sense. These planets have been realigned to further someone else's agenda.
Well, and you also think about like what Wes Pinner writes about and like the disappearance of the universe, the things that we've been talking about, like the books you should read. And Wes Pinner is a great person for information. I mean, like, how many times has this planet has been picked? And Andrew talks about it. How many times has this planet just been picked up and placed somewhere?
Right. We have many different first versions of Earth. Many different first versions of Earth.
From Tiamat to Terra to...
Or finally the Earth made a shout out because it was about to die.
Yeah. Because it's in the dark.
Right.
And that's why I like laugh at people like, oh, we're in a filament, we're in a dome. And I'm like, you guys, we're quarantined from the rest of the galactic civilization. So to you, maybe the Earth does look flat and maybe there might be a dome because we are quarantined.
We are. All right. Yeah.
So that's why I always laugh when people are like, when's the quarantine going to end? You know what I mean? From 2020. And I'm like, which quarantine are you talking about?
Right. The galactic one, the Earth one, this like, COVID one.
Which one do you want to come to an end? Because you need to be specific.
Oh, man.
Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so, I mean, these are the weird thoughts that I have. And I don't know. I might start a podcast to start sharing these weird thoughts that I have. But going back to the twin thing, if you know you are a twin, the biggest thing that I want you to get out of this is focus on your mission. That's it. Stop worrying about the relationship. Stop worrying about, is he going to call me? Is she going to text me? They're ignoring me.
That basically takes care of the now what.
They're stalking me. I mean.
That's all low vibe, low worth, right?
What?
It's all low vibe, low worth. Because you're like, I want them to do this, right?
Yeah. And it's not even about it being in a low vibe. It's like, who are you really serving when you're having these?
I like that reframe. Yes.
I just wish that people realize that, like, there's a lot of things that we don't understand as humans in regards to frequencies, 5G, what's being broadcast, the spells being put out there. Why have we accepted that everybody in society that we need to be depressed? Like, what really is causing the depression?
Right.
What really is causing ADHD? Is it how we have society set up that's not serving everybody? So, like, people are getting bored because they see through the bullshit.
It's all our fake food, the cell phone towers all around us. It's a mixture of things where we're at a disadvantage.
And I think, like, if you're a twin and you're like, well, how should I eat, Teri? Eat the way your body wants you to eat. I mean, some days I don't even eat. Some days I just have juice only. Some days I'm having a burger. Like, you know, like.
And Andrew Bartz.
You also have to understand. Oh, go ahead. What does Andrew Bartz say?
Bartz talks about how eating meat is a part of one lineage's karmic resolution, and it may not be a part of a lineage's karmic resolution. So if you're eating meat, it's really just karmic resolution.
Yeah, it could be, because then, like, you know, then maybe you're the first in your family like, I'm gonna go vegan,
breaking that,
and then you carry that because you broke those generational curses or whatnot. You know, like, you just, and I think that's why twins are here too. We have to break through. We have to break through what society deems as acceptable or not acceptable. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's part of the reason as to why the interracial twins have a harder time. Or the interfaith twins have a harder time because you're breaking up the conditioning of your family that believes, well, you need to marry this person of this faith or this person of this race or ethnicity or whatever. And here you are, you're like, well, I'm supposed to be the way shower and the breaker of things in my family, and I'm gonna no. You know, and I think that's why a lot of people then this is how the dark gets to people, is through thoughts, through all the things, and how they continue to divide us as humanity, right?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter. What matters is like, are you seeing me from a soul standpoint? And I think that's another place where twins come in. Twins actually see one another from a soul standpoint. They're not looking at the physicality of things, right? Like me saying, like, I've always known as this little black girl whose mom was brought up in Jim Crow South, you know, like, my family's very, what's the word I'm looking for? As a little girl, being able to be like, express to her mom, be like, I know my boyfriend has blonde hair and blue eyes, and my mom was just like, I wasn't even allowed to drink water with white people. I mean, like, bless her for nurturing that, because those are the little nuances. Those are tough things, I think, to nurture in your child. If you know your child is already displaying attributes of being different, which I was at a very young age with the things that I was talking about and the conversations that I was having. And then to throw that into the mix, she was just like, yeah, okay. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that, I think that's where people start to get things confused, when we were talking about going back to like gender and race and everything. They are constructs, right? But they also are constructs, and then they attach these roles to them. It's up to the twins to come in and flip the script and change the roles and change how people see how you are. Like, I think Lizzo's probably a twin, and she probably doesn't even know it. I also think those twin flames, how you know you're a twin, if you've had a really hard time in love. Like, I had a friend, I went home, I was like, girl, you're a twin flame. And she just looked at me like, what? I was like, look it up online. I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm like, you're a twin flame. I go, this is why your love life has sucked. Because I think we have to stop saying that this person doesn't complete you. What if they do? What if this person does complete you? I think we have to look at it. We have to look at all sides of it. Instead of people being like, oh, you have to have self-love and do it on your own and blah, blah, blah. We humans, by human nature, unless in human design, you're a single definition. Hello, know what I'm talking about?
AR is.
Single definition human design people are very rare.
I am?
Most people are in... What?
Am I?
Yeah.
Really?
Even Cherish has a single definition. So there are two single definitions in a relationship.
Wow. Yeah, you technically don't need anybody to accomplish your mission.
That we don't need anyone to accomplish our mission.
No, like I'm a split definition. I gotta have somebody in my aura to hook the generator, to help the generator out.
Yeah.
Right? I have a client, she's a triple definition. So that's very rare. So because she's a triple definition, she has to be around 2 or 3 people to get, and she's a manifesting generator in order for her to get to do what I'm trying to get at. What I'm saying is we have to stop telling people that this other person doesn't complete you, because they do. I felt completely completed when I merged with my twin.
Like energetically.
I was like, holy fuck, I feel fucking whole now.
Yeah.
I am whole and I'm ready to conquer the world. And I did not feel that until I merged.
Right.
Those are the little things that like people don't. I think they try to avoid that, talking about it in the new cage community, because they I think they just are like, well, I'm not with this person, so you can't be either. It's kind of like a tit for tat thing, I feel like. Does that make sense? So be okay with saying, you know what, this person fucking completes me and I feel amazing when I'm with that person, or I love their energy, you know, like that's why I said to my twin today, I'm like, I'm going to use your energy, bitch. Thanks.
What an amazing episode. Holy shit. There's so much content for the listener to listen over and over and over again and again and again to fully integrate. But don't integrate the shadow, people. If you've taken anything away from
Just integrate the light, baby.
Now it's time for the now what section of our episode. And Teri, you were getting to it already, the takeaway for twins, but maybe even if you have a takeaway for non-twins.
Oh. The takeaway for non-twins?
Good one.
Ooh, that's a good one, Helen.
That is a good one.
I think the takeaway for non-twins is don't be jealous that you're not a twin.
Be happy.
Because it's not happy. Be happy that you're not a twin, because it's not an easy journey. It's really not. I don't think I've ever met a twin that's been like, my life has been so amazing.
What? People live like that?
You know what? Actually, I take that back. I have kids that I grew up with who are twin flames, and her life was idyllic. His life, not so much. But you know what I mean? Like they created like this perfect, they have the kids and you know what I mean? But you guys don't envy people who have twin flames, please. And don't envy people who have twin flames who are well known, because that carries a completely different. I think people who are and I'm talking about twin flames who could be athletes, politicians, people who hold like these higher upper echelon stations of life, like Prince Harry. Like, don't ever be jealous of twin flames because they're carrying such a higher, you guys, there's a hierarchy. They're carrying such a higher load and such a higher vibration. You couldn't pay me to be Meghan Markle.
What a way to wrap up season 2.
And I love them to death.
Thank you, Teri, for being with us today.
So much fun.
Teri, where can the listeners find you if they so choose to?
If you want to work with me, you can. I will have JR link my Instagram. That's pretty much the only way you can find me and it's a private account. So if you DM me, just say, I heard about you on the thing and blah, blah, blah. And then I will respond. But if it's spam, I ain't respond.
You're about to get blown up.
And the reason why I'm like that is because I'm very protective of my energy, which is why JR is like, this is the first time she's going to be okay.
Awesome. Well, if you like this episode, please subscribe for more twin flame tips. Please join us on our Discord. The link will be in the show notes. I'm JR.
And I'm Helen. Thanks for another great one, Teri.
Thanks for a great season. Thanks, guys.